my turn to settle down. My main concern, promise that you will think about me. Promise that you will think about me.
Yo, what's going on there, good people? It's your man Beach Bum Gun on this lovely, lovely Thursday, February 15th, day after Valentine's Day. Man, it's going to be a rough day. I'm hoping that the show's not going to be somber the whole time. I don't plan it to be. I plan it still to be a light show, but we can't start the show without acknowledging the tragic events that happened, earlier yesterday with 17 victims at Parkland, Florida. High school were gunned down by a kid, man. Sad stuff, man. It's just, I don't know how to address it, really. I don't know the conversations to talk about. I mean, we can always discuss it. We can always move on to different topics, but still sad. Anytime you're talking about kids losing their lives senselessly. How the hell do you say that? Senselessly. Whatever, man. That's what happens when you're fat, man. You get a lot of saliva stuck in your mouth. Pause. But yeah, man, sad stuff, man. So we might be able to talk about this. We got a lot of things to talk about. We'll hopefully have some people call in and maybe they want to discuss some other stuff. If you want to talk about the kid shooting, I'll be more than happy to talk about it. If you want to talk about other stuff, I'll be more than happy to bring that up too. I'm all about the jokes and laughs, but we get our serious conversations. We're all adults. So it's just whatever you want to talk about. Again, this is the Off-Ramp Show, man, with your host, Beach Bum Gun. Feel free to call in 929-477-3975. This is a show for the people, by the people, that embodies the people. So whatever you want to talk about, I'm going to talk about. It just is what it is. Right now we got a call on the line. Looks like you from Maryland. Last 40787. What's good?
What's up? It's C. Riley.
C. Riley, my man. What's poppin', my brother?
What's up, man? I saw the text come through, on the Facebook. I was like, I saw it a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, I wonder what this is about. And I was at work, so I couldn't call in. And I saw it again tonight, so I said, let me go ahead and call in. See what Gun's talking about.
We definitely appreciate you calling in. Usually people roll in kind of late. Usually we start around 10, do it 10 to 11, but got to do it early tonight, man. I'm trying to go check out Black Panther. You trying to go see that?
Yeah. I'm gonna get there and see it. I'd like to see it this week and see if the schedule works out. Definitely want to go see it though. Support,
Yeah, definitely. I think it's gonna be a good movie for the folks, man. Marvel usually does a good job, man. I'm anxious to see how they embody the whole Black Panther thing. But the funny thing is, like, all the hype with Black Panther, I didn't read the comic book.
I'm not in the comics at all. And I really know nothing about it. I saw a couple of the Marvel pictures. I thought they were pretty good, but of course this one with all the all the support, the black cast. I'm like, I gotta go check it out.
Yeah, the only Black Panther I knew was Panther from Thundercats, yo. And he was old as hell. He was like 40 with the Michael Jordan hoops in his ears, yo.
That's pretty funny. Oh, man, you took it back with that.
Yo, Panther was the man, yo. He ain't had no superpowers, but he sure as hell could drive that big-ass car, yo.
Right?
So I think...
Well, you want to see it tomorrow?
Yeah, man, don't tell nobody. I hope nobody from work listening, man, but I plan on calling out work.
My bad.
Just for the cause, man. So I'm giving them a sick day, yo. I ain't feeling well. I'm doing this for the people.
I hear you coughing over there. I hear you coughing.
Yeah, a little stuffed up. Well, see, Riley, we definitely be glad to have you on, man. Glad to hear your voice, man. I hope you join us more often, man. Is there anything particular you want to discuss tonight, or you want me to just go ahead on what I was going to discuss?
Yeah, you can just go ahead. I really didn't know the format or anything like that, so I was just calling in to kind of, just support, listen, see what it's about. But I mean, it's definitely a lot of news, you know.
Well, I got you on the line, so if you ever want to jump in, feel free to jump in. If you do me a favor, just put your phone on mute, and then when you jump in, just give me the year, and I'll be able to get you on.
All right.
All right, now we got another call on the line from 301. A lot of Maryland folks on here tonight. A lot of good Maryland folks. 301, what's up? You on the off-ramp?
What's up? Can you hear me?
Yes. I had you on mute. That's why I couldn't hear you.
Oh. Hello, sir.
Hello, ma'am. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Would you like to introduce yourself to the people, or you going to play the shy role? Because, you know, we got a lot of things to talk about tonight.
But my name is Shannon.
Oh, Shannon. Oh, good. Shannon from Maryland. Nice to have you on. Well, welcome to the offer. I'm glad to have you on. Glad to have your discussion on tonight. But, of course, I invited you on, Shannon. So, again, we opened with the talking about the Parkland and the tragedy there. Do you want to talk about that at all, or you want to just leave that to the side?
How many people are on the phone?
I think it's about 4, but, you know. It's for the people.
Yeah, it's definitely tragic, you know, and I don't want anything to ever overshadow the loss of life and the terror that the kids and the parents felt. But, you know, it also makes you angry the way situations like this are handled versus when it's handled in a minority community or, you know, the suspect is a minority.
Well, it's a lot. That's a lot there. It's a lot there. Let's break that down. So, the first discussion I always have when things like this happen is basically how do you show the family respect, the victim's respect, and the situation respect without first jumping to trying to find a solution? Because we're all heartbroken over this tragedy. I mean, some of us have kids, some of us don't, but we're all loving and empathetic human beings, so no one wants to see kids hurt. So when you see something like this, your heart is always torn in pieces. So, you know, I always get conflicted in myself with saying, like, how do I start talking about this without disrespecting the family? So let me ask you this. When do you think is a good time to start discussing possible solutions, possible changes so that this doesn't happen again? Is it right away? Do we give it a day? Is it something that we wait for the victims to talk about first?
I think you can discuss it right away. You know, I think it's disrespectful when you don't try to find a solution, you know, to what so many people just died from, you know, and a lot of the students and parents who were there on site, you know, have been kind of voicing the same thing. I just think that you have to kind of, and this is just me personally, you know, keep in mind that there's a lot of emotional impact, you know, and a lot of grieving going on also. Yeah,
because, I mean, it's always tough to hear something like this happen, and I think we're on, like, the 18th school shooting just this year. What you got?
Yeah, and about that, like, it's actually, like, been very hard for me because one of the school shootings that's counted in that 18 happened in Maryland. I think it was last Monday at Oxon Hill. And, you know, I heard about it. We talked about it on Monday, you know, saying who would do such a stupid thing. And then on Tuesday, I found out one of my relatives was arrested, you know, as a suspect of being part of it. So it's kind of been like a roller coaster 2 weeks.
Man, that's crazy. Well, I mean, if you don't like the people, I mean, I'm in Virginia. You know, I don't want to get into your family situation, get personal. I don't want you to get upset. You know, I like to keep this thing lighthearted, but I didn't know you were so close to the situation. But if you can enlighten the people, what happened in Oxon Hill? Because I haven't heard about that.
Yeah, there was, it was after school, you know, at Oxon Hill High School, and, you know, initially they were reporting that a student got shot outside in the parking lot, tried to go back in, and, you know, it was after school, but there were still students there for after-school activities. So what we now know, you know, the next day, my 18-year-old cousin and his 17-year-old girlfriend, who is in high school, were arrested, and there's a third person that they're looking for. A boy was shot twice in the chest, who is a student there. And so that's pretty much all the media is reporting at this point. So I don't know.
Man, that's so. Do you feel so like when? So now that you're so close to the situation with your cousin being involved, and I'm just asking how you feel as a family member, when you see people online start to turn this into a political discussion, a gun control discussion, back and forth, an NRA discussion, and taking off the fact that, you know, these kids are victims. These are troubled kids. These are mentally ill kids. These are crazy kids. These are just terroristic kids. These are just, and most of them just innocent, hurtful kids. Do you feel, does that make you even angrier since you're so close, or do you think that those people have a right to discuss these situations in whatever terms they feel is necessary?
I definitely think people have a right to discuss the situation. I think it should be discussed. I'm one of the people, you know, who's very vocal about situations like that. You know, I read a lot of comments in my cousin's case, like on social media, you know, where people kind of made assumptions about, you know, what kind of background he comes from or what kind of family and things like that, that were assumptions and that, you know, were wrong. No matter what, he put himself in a position, right? You know, and everybody has to take responsibility for their actions, but he wasn't a failed child. He wasn't bullied. He didn't come from a broken home. You know, he wasn't born into poverty. You know, he grew up in the suburbs. His parents have a Range Rover. You know, he has a 3.2 GPA at Bowie State. You know, it's different. But like I said, like the media handles those types of situations differently. But, you know, it doesn't change my opinion and my views on gun control and gun safety and, you know, people being accountable for things.
Okay, and we're going to get to the gun control discussion in a second. Again, we're not going to let this bog us down the whole time, but I'm glad you're on. I'm glad you're talking about it because, you know, we always have these discussions offline and on the side, and I love the way you think. I love your opinions. I don't necessarily agree with them all the time, but I just love the fact that you're not afraid to speak your voice and you're vocal. And I think you're intelligent. You know, even though you didn't let me cheat off you in freshman year English class,
What's one class?
I still appreciate you. So, okay, now I want to ask this question, and feel free to tell me you don't know or it's none of my business. So, was your cousin the one that shot the kid?
I don't know for sure, of course, but they're saying it was the third person. Like the guy, the victim, was actually my cousin's girlfriend's ex-boyfriend, and they're saying that it was a third person that they're still looking for.
So, and this was over a girl. So what's the girlfriend saying? Is she saying...
I don't know if it was over a girl. You know, I
still
don't know.
Up in the air. Okay, well, again,
yeah.
I don't want to get too far. Just
and that's about all I can say about it. But
yeah. Please don't share any more information. I know it's close to your family. So okay, so now we're gonna move on past that. So the issue of gun control. Okay, so now see, Riley, I know you're still out there. Did you want to jump in and have any comments? I don't want to leave you off too hanging.
Nah, I was gonna earlier. You had said something. You brought up like 18. There's been 18 incidents in like a year. You were talking about, hey, is it too early to talk about this? And I don't think so at all. I mean, like you said, there's been 18 school shootings in a year. Like, when are we going to wait? You know, this has to be talked about now, you know. And definitely in a respectful way to, you know, not to disrespect the victims and their families. But, you know, something needs to happen and we need to stop putting on the back burner.
And I agree with y'all. I mean, I do feel as though, 18 school shootings. Man, what are you back there doing? The dishes, y'all?
Yeah, funny you say that, yeah.
Don't drop your phone in the soap, man. You got to treat it like jail, man. Hold on to the phone, man.
Nah.
But all right, so going back to the serious discussion at hand. So we all agree something needs to change. I mean, without even putting my whole views into it, because I'm just trying to just talk about it on a global scale. Just something needs to be done. Too many kids are dying at the hands of guns, right? That's whether it be in school, out of school. We can talk about war, just the fact that too many kids are dying at the hands of guns. That's the global topic. Now, if you break it into sections, we can talk about school shootings, gang violence and all that stuff. We can break that down into sections. So if we just talk about school shootings, Shannon, since this is so near and dear to your heart, what's your solution? Because that's what everybody really wants to know. Everybody says, oh, this is so sad. But it's our Second Amendment. You can't do anything about it. Nothing's going to change. There's the narrative of, criminals are going to get guns anyway. There's that narrative. But just from your perspective, what do you think the solution to try and curb this epidemic of school shootings is?
Well, first of all, I don't think it's really a mystery because we're the only developed nation in the world who really has this issue. So the real answer would be to do what those other countries do. But quite honestly, I support the Second Amendment. I'm a gun person. I enjoy shooting a variety of different things. And, I would never want to take guns away from people, but I think that they should be harder to get. I don't understand why this young man, at 18 can legally buy a gun, but he can't buy a drink. He can't sit down at a blackjack table, and there's reasons why minors can't sign contracts, right? There's reasons why if you're 21 and under, you can't drink or you can't gamble. And to me, why would those reasons not apply to buying a gun? I think that, there should be waiting periods. I think there should be better background checks. In border states, you get discounts for the more guns you buy, and it's not illegal to just turn around and sell it to somebody else, and then they just walk it across the border. And they have so much gun violence, in border cities. So I don't think that unfortunately, I'm not even like an AR-15 person. I do think that if you're, because, AR-15s are, you can configure them to be a lot of different things, and that's what a lot of people like about them. So if you're ex-military or you're law enforcement, or a serious gun enthusiast, you might like to collect them to build them into different configurations. But I think, the same way you have to have a learner's permit. You have to take a class. I think you should have to take a class to buy a gun. I think maybe you need to be evaluated over a short period of time, by an arms trainer to be sure that you not only know how to operate and store it, but that you're not planning some kind of mass shooting, or going to do something horrible with your weapon. I think we could start with things like that.
Now, do you think those solutions would stop school shootings? Because I guess I'm looking at it from the standpoint of, out of those solutions, what would have stopped this kid from getting a gun? I mean, by all accounts, he was bad. It sounds like the FBI put out a little blip about this kid because he was, part of like a racist group and all that stuff. But I don't know if his Facebook post, the fact that he got kicked out of a high school, is that going to show up on any report that's going to stop him from buying a gun?
It should. To me, it should. And I don't like to stigmatize people with mental illness because, a lot of mental illnesses or developmental issues are on a spectrum and things like that. But if you are diagnosed, with and children being treated for a mental issue where you have the potential, to be violent, or you have a tendency to be violent, I feel like you should be put on some type of list, or watch list that would either prevent or hold up, your process of buying a gun. If he's been flagged by the FBI for a YouTube video, about him saying that he wants to be a professional shooter, he's tied to an extremist organization, he's participated in paramilitary drills with this said extremist organization. To me, those are a lot of reasons why you shouldn't be buying a gun. So in cases like this, in cases like Sandy Hook, in other cases where people are mentally ill and show a propensity for violence, I think that we should try to do more to try to prevent things like that. Do I think it'll eliminate school shootings? I think it will start to cut down on them. And, to be honest, I don't have all the answers. I may not have any answers, but I feel like we have to do something because for too long we've done absolutely nothing.
Oh, and I agree. And I'm not sitting here and putting you on the stand of saying if you don't have a perfect solution, you're wrong. Because I think people who think like that, that's the one thing what I hate about social media. It's like everyone has an answer but doesn't have an answer, but no one wants to have a discussion. They just want to talk at each other, but no one really likes to actually talk and go back and forth and share ideas. That's why I started the radio show. I think there's a lot of people out there. C. Riley's one of them. You're one of them. My wife's one of them with really great ideas, and I feel like we don't discuss. We just look at memes, crack jokes. I know I just laugh at people and move on. So please, I don't want it to come off like I'm putting you on the stand and saying, well, why don't you have all the solutions? I'm playing more devil's advocate of trying to help form a solution because I'm the exact same way. I honestly feel, I'm a gun guy. I have a bunch of guns. I love guns. But I also got kids, and I don't want to see my kid getting shot because some crazy kid has bought a gun and decided that he was a loner and wanted to shoot a bunch of kids.
Right.
But I'm also practical, and I don't want to give the government my guns, but I'm not as attached to them. If the government said we couldn't have guns anymore, then I just pick up a new hobby. I laugh at the people who say, if the government takes our guns, then they're going to take us all over. And I keep looking at them and I'm like, yo, the government has, like, nuclear weapons stuff.
Yeah.
Your P90 ain't going to do nothing against that. But that's a discussion for another day. So I guess my question
what do you guys
think?
So, I mean, I know a lot of times on this issue, men and women are separated, so I'd be interested to hear what you guys think.
Well, see, do you want to jump in or you want me to go? You just still back there scrubbing them pans,
Nah, I was listening. It's definitely I think it's an issue that is really, it's going to be hard to find one right answer to it. I think, you have to focus on the mental health issue, and then of course the laws with guns.
All right,
the second.
Riley, let me cut you off right there. I want to jump on that point you just said. So you said focus on the mental health issue. So I guess my question is, no one really gets mentally evaluated. Now, you're a doctor, right? So maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. No one gets mentally evaluated until they really fuck up, right? I got a cousin who's going through some things, and I honestly thought he was on drugs, but it kind of found out that he had like a little mental issue. And it wasn't until he started really, really fucking up, and we're like, yo, what the hell's going on? You wasn't like this. And then you kind of find out there's some mental things going on that's like just chemically imbalanced. So do you think the right thing to do now, see, I know you got kids, I got kids. Do you think that every kid in high school, in a public high school, should be mentally evaluated as they go so we kind of catch this before they get out?
No, I don't think so. I think that's invading people's, you just can't do that because that's not right. You just can't, I'm going to just start evaluating everybody who comes across. That's kind of like, in Arizona when they were just searching people. If you look Mexican, they just want to see some ID. Are you really here? You just can't. I don't think you can do that. But
the school already has guidance counselors, and I personally know some school psychologists, who work in schools And I don't think that, like Chris said, I don't think that you need to evaluate every student, but this student was known to faculty, he was known to the student, and he was already undergoing mental health care. Like you said, a lot of times with mental illness, you don't know until something major happens, but, most people don't there's usually, like, escalating behavior, right? Like, this person, like, fantasized about killing animals. Okay, that's textbook serial killer. Like, nobody just, in most cases, wakes up and snaps and goes and shoots a lot of people. Like, all of these people, are troubled and planned and showed signs.
Nah, definitely. And I think what I was kind of saying was I think both of these things, gun control laws and mental health need to be evaluated at the same time. Like I think that's the only way to kind of go about this. You can't just focus on one and not the other. And the Second Amendment, that was what in the 1700s. Like things have changed. Like maybe we need to make amendments to these gun laws. Like I understand. People love it. I'm not a gun owner. I have no intentions to be. It's just not my thing. And if they ban them, hey, good. But there's a lot of people that love their guns. But we have to look at what is reasonable in the times that we're living in. What should be allowed and what can't be allowed. Like we have to be real, like with ourselves. Like, do we really need this out here? Like, what good is it doing? And can we sit here and like list the reasons of, okay, what good is it to be able to purchase these type of weapons? And why should we allow people to do that?
That's true.
Yeah. And it's a very complicated issue. That's why I said, that's why I was like just breaking it down to school shootings. We can get into the whole amendment thing and about the Constitution another day, because I feel like we should rip up the Constitution and start all over. But that's a whole different discussion to another day. As far as I just want to go back.
Oh.
Huh?
I say you sound like Jeff Sessions now.
Jeff Sessions? Who's that? Oh, the crazy white guy? What, ripping up the Constitution? Well, that's what Ben.
Yeah, he said, basically all the amendments that freed us and everything after, he said, just caused nothing but problems.
Oh, yeah. He's wilding at that. I just feel like, because I was listening to, I'm not sure if you guys are NPR fans, but they have this thing called the Jefferson Hour. It's about the guy who talks about Jefferson and his likeness and his ideals. And one of Jefferson's ideals is one of the fathers of the Constitution was saying, look, the Constitution are rules that the people have agreed to abide by that rule the land. But as people get older and die, new people inherit that land, so new constitutional laws should be drawn up.
And as technology changes.
Right. So that's why I was like, like C. Riley just said, the Constitution's, 300 years old, so I and honestly, it's like, to me, it's worthless. It's you know what I mean? We don't even use cassette tapes anymore. How are we going to use paper that can't even touch oxygen or it'll fall apart? Like it's in a vacuum sealed case.
So much has changed, and we have to change.
But okay, I'm gonna ask you one last discussion because we only got a half an hour left, and I want to get on to some other lighter topics. Because Shannon said something on Facebook the other day that made me laugh, and I want to get into that. So just the last comments on this, and we can discuss this again next week. I love having y'all on. Y'all always more than welcome to come back. So last thing,
if Scandal is on, I won't call.
Why are you worried about Scandal? That's what you got DVR for.
There you go.
So C. Riley, last thing. What do you think is the first thing we should do to try and prevent these school shootings again?
Cool. That's a really tough question, and I wish I had a great answer to that. I think all we can do right now immediately is just be more vigilant about who we're letting, the students, the people that are coming to these schools, and just trying to keep a better heads up. I don't know if we need some type of, they did say they had a guard at the school, but somehow he wasn't in the area at the time. I don't know. That's a tough. I wish I really had a good answer for you, but it's tough, you know.
It's all good, brother. I mean, that's why we got the radio show, man. We're going to be on weekly so we can figure it out together. So, Miss Shannon, you're up next. What do you think is the first thing we should do to try and work towards preventing kid shootings?
I think that we should... I don't know. I don't really think there's one thing you can do to prevent it, but I think it would be either eliminate the NRA or make all the congressmen who took money from the NRA give it back.
Okay, I respect that, and I'm going to answer the question to y'all. And I think the first thing we need to do is just admit that we have a problem. I think people are running around not realizing that we have a problem. I think the first thing that we need to do is come to collectively together as a nation and be like, yo, we have a problem with kids taking guns and killing each other. And I think once we can get the majority to admit that and use self-reflection, then I think we'll start moving in the right direction. But as long as these things keep happening and the first thing we jump to is Republican versus Democrat politics, this, and that, and not just saying, yo, do we have a problem or not, we're never going to get to even start trying to solve the situation.
I hear a lot of people say things like, well, we have X amount of drownings a year and we don't ban pools, or we have X amount of car accidents a year and, you know, we still drive. So, yeah, I think you're right.
All right.
Nah, I definitely
agree.
I mean, they need to put the left and the right to the side and just come down like, hey, we need to fix this. We are doing our kids a disservice right now. You know, kids are not safe in schools. We need to fix it.
Yeah.
Regardless, you're a Democrat, Republican, it needs to be handled.
You would think that it would have been, if anything, when it was kindergartners and first graders.
And I just told my wife that today. I was like, listen, it didn't change after Sandy Hook. What makes you think it's going to change now, you know?
Yeah. I don't know.
It's tough. And I would love it. I want to keep talking about this, but I don't want the whole show to be bogged down with depression stuff because we have more than we... Because, you know, I got friends, or I'll say that we have friends, because you know them too, who don't believe Sandy Hook happened.
Are you serious? Is it Shane?
In the colleges. No, I'm not putting nobody's name out there. But look, I appreciate y'all discussing that. We'll get back to that on another week. I want to move the conversation forward to something more lighthearted. So please, to the victims again, we're praying for you. We love y'all. I have a kid. I couldn't imagine getting that phone call. So my prayers and thoughts are with those victims and families, and hopefully the country comes together and supports so that we can tone these things down and try to erase them. So I'm going to move the conversation forward to Miss Shannon. So Miss Shannon, I saw you on the internet and you dropped a gem on Facebook. Now I'm not on Facebook that much, but when I'm on there, I'm usually on the toilet doing my thug thizzle, and I have about 10 minutes to scroll down in between, you know, breaths. And I saw you post a great line, right? And and if you don't mind, I'm going to quote this line. And I want to discuss it because I think this could be a good discussion. Quote, never underestimate the value of being able to be unbothered. I think that's a great line.
So what do you think about that?
Well, first I want to get from you, like, where did that come from? So I internalize everything. Like, the smallest thing can happen at work, or, you know, anything with my sisters, my nieces, anything in my life, you know, whether it's something somebody says or does to me, a situation, you know, if I said something I regret or I feel like I shouldn't have done, I'm so hard on myself, I internalize everything. But over the years, I've learned to, like, let things go. And I'm a member of this Facebook group of women from across the country. You know, it's a large group. I'm a member of a couple of them. One is like, you know, most of them are PhDs, you know, or professors, you know, and things like that. Everybody's educated.
And another group called Wifey in Training, one of my friends from high school started, which is huge, and it's across the country with a lot of women in it, you know, from all walks of life. But I see them say things every day when they base their lives upon these small situations. And I was saying that because there was a girl who, and she's actually down near you in Richmond, Virginia, was saying that she wanted to commit suicide. And then the next day, you know, everybody was so worried about her. The next day, she explained that it was over her ex-boyfriend that she's not even still with. And I was basically saying, you know, we have to learn how to not sweat small things. Like there's a good book, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, like, and let it roll off your back. You know, otherwise you'll go crazy over small, insignificant stuff. And, like, for some people it's a learned skill. I find men do it better, you know, than women, but that's what that was about.
Wow, that got deep. I knows about suicide. I wanted to crack jokes. Wifey in Training. So
I mean, it's about everything, though. Like, you know, anything. Don't get hung up on small stuff and let it bother you.
I got so many questions about this Wifey in Training thing.
Oh, my God.
So,
hey, real quick.
Oh, go ahead, C. Riley. Go ahead.
Are you done with the dishes yet?
Yeah, I'm done. Before you go off on
fine you up.
Hey, you gotta get done though, right? Gotta get done. Before you go off on a tangent, you know, when I heard you say that quote, it made me think of being in touch with your emotions. And a lot of times, you know, people try to be emotionless, and that is backfiring on them. But it's good to, you know, be in touch with your emotions and know when to hold back and when to express them and when to use them for your good and when to kind of keep them withheld because it may not be the right time. But that's what that made me think of.
Yeah, you can't let your emotions, like, you have to control your emotions or they'll control you and control your life.
Exactly.
I mean, that sounds good and all.
I didn't say I was cold-hearted.
Yeah, but the funny thing is because you are, because, see, Riley, the next thing I said to her, because I agree. I 100% agree. I try to, even when I'm not getting along with my wife, I try not to act emotional. I don't try to be like, I try not to be vindictive, even though she says I'm vindictive, but I try never to yell at her or do anything.
You're not vindictive, you're petty.
I wouldn't call myself petty, yo. I feel like I'm very even, too. This ain't going to be personal attack on beach bum gun tonight. But I firmly agree with you because I think I've mastered the fact of not caring, but it's backfired on me because most women have left me because they said, because I don't act emotional, I don't care about them, and they think I don't care, so they start doing erratic things for my attention to get me to care, and then when they do these erratic things, I just leave. So in my mind, and I'm saying that in my mind, I'm like, oh, that's a very good statement because, you know, if you don't let yourself be bothered, you don't let other people control your emotions, you're still in control of yourself. So I said that to Shannon. I said, that's a great line. I like that line. I'm taking a poop, and I'm like, yo, I got to use that one day. And then she responded, I learned it from men. And I was like, damn, that's cold-blooded, yo.
No, like, it's a lesson. Like, you know, I think you can learn from people. I'm sure both of you have learned stuff from your wife. Like, it's a good thing that I've learned from men, not because they did it to me, but because, like, you know, I'd come home from work and tell my boyfriend, like, what happened, and I'd be so upset. And they'd say, like, you know, that was at work. Leave that at work. And I'm like, what do you mean? How, Sway? Oh.
I mean, I get it, but I feel like your comment was a little shady, yo.
No, I wasn't trying to be shady. And, like, you know, as far as men acting emotional, I don't know, because as soon as you start acting emotional, they probably would have left you for being too emotional.
I don't know. I've gotten into a lot of trouble with not caring. But we got somebody from the 757 on the line. You on the off ramp. What's going on?
Gun, what you up here lying about, man?
Yo, I ain't lying about nothing. All I do is speak the truth every time I step in the booth. Brother Russell, what's going on tonight?
What's good, Gun? What's going on, everybody?
Nah, man, we're having a good conversation with... What'd you say?
No, I was just speaking to everybody, even though I don't know everybody on the line. I'm just saying hello. You know, can't walk in the door and not speak. Hey, how you doing? How you doing?
What's going on?
Doing? What's going on,
good,
world?
Good.
How y'all feeling?
So we're definitely we're starting to get into discussion, Russell, and you can chime in when you feel free, of course. So, Shannon, I want to go back to this wifey and training group because that's bothering me, yo.
Oh yeah.
Is this women? Is this women training other women to be a man's woman? Because that don't make sense to me.
See, the girl who started it, you know, it was she. I think she really had positive intentions for it, but it's gotten real crazy. It's like, you know, I don't know. Like, people post stuff every day, all day, and it sounds like Maury. And yeah, it's a lot of women giving bad advice on there too.
Okay, because that was kind of crazy. But you know, hey, if it works, then it works. And I guess that brings us to Valentine's Day. I mean, I think Valentine's Day. Man, Russell, what you got? The TV on in the background? I know that's you, yo.
What?
I got
I'm watching the Lakers game, man. What you want me to do?
Yo, the Lakers suck, man.
You're crazy. Stop it. Don't you ever disrespect the person who's going
Shannon
like that.
said we couldn't talk about sports tonight, so I'm gonna go
I mean,
back.
since I'm outnumbered, if y'all want to talk about sports, go ahead.
No. We usually have men on here, so I'm glad to finally have a female voice and a female perspective. Because, again, going back to your quote, I think it's a great quote. I think it's a great thing to live by, but it does backfire on you. There will be people who think, like me, like I joked with you, that you're cold-hearted and don't care. So how do you balance the difference of telling your significant other, look, I care, I just don't care as much as you would like me to care, and that shouldn't bother you, because you can't control how other people feel.
I don't know. I've never been accused of not being caring from my significant other, but I think you can, like Chris said, I think you can learn to be in control of your emotions and still care. I think it's just that people show caring in different ways. Like, I've never seen you treat some women, you know, like you didn't care. Like, people just care in different ways, I think.
Yo, say it with your chest, Shannon. You know me since 2000. Say it with your chest. Say how you feel. I'm good.
Yeah, like the first time I met you, I was a freshman, and you were with Lauren. And, you know, she was asking if you were going to do something for her, and you were like, I already told you I was. Don't even worry about it. And everybody thought that was, like, the sweetest thing.
Man, I don't remember that. But, yeah, you know, there's never a woman that I've dated that said that I didn't treat her right. But every woman will tell you that I'm cold-hearted, acting like I didn't care about them. But I go back to your point.
I can name some that probably wouldn't.
I mean, I think basically you gotta
Yo, who's still doing this?
I was gonna say, I think that's not me anymore. I'm done.
I was about to say you need a dishwasher first.
Nah, we got one. But I think basically, you gotta know, like, for your partner, right? The things that are important for him or her, and you know, those are the things you might have to, you know, fake it for. You know, not fake it, but you want to have to show some extra attention in those departments, you know, because that's
you can't just say, "Well, this is how I am." F it.
You can't just.
Who said why not?
But Gun, if it's something that's important to you, don't you want your wife to care about it?
She don't care what's important to me because she thinks I don't care about anything.
Have y'all ever read that book, The 5 Love Languages?
I have never read a book.
I need you to read it, Gunnar.
Yeah, I read it. I know what you're talking about.
I need you to read it, Gunnar. Russell, you read it too.
Okay, you wrote a book.
He said he ain't never read a book.
Never, motherfucker.
For some reason, I believe him too.
Well, hold on. Go ahead, Shannon. What's that book name again? I'm gonna write it down. What's the book name again?
The 5 Love Languages.
The 5 Love Languages. So what's that? Like Spanish, French?
No, Jay. people love differently, right? Like some people, you know what I'm saying, they love through action. Some people love through affection. Some people love through service. Some people love, and I don't even know what the languages are, but it's just people show affection in different ways. You know, a nigga might buy his girl a bag and be like, yo, I bought it because I love it. Whereas another dude might cook a 3-course meal. I did that because I love it. But you know, so it's just different ways of showing love. But everybody don't accept love the same way. So you got to learn what language your partner speaks.
But
basically,
women's language changes every damn day.
That might be true.
And I swear it's because they got the same chromosome. Like the whole funny. So explain so the love language, you have to learn your partner's love language. I mean, when you get to the point where you're saying I love you, you should be understanding that person. You know, you should at least be caring what they think. And of course, all of our significant others, we always care what they think. But if you spend enough time together, you're not going to get along. But in the same token, don't you kind of got to learn to accept each other's faults? Like, if my wife has a fault, you got to learn
how to accept each other's faults. But like, so most men's love language is physical touch, and like when somebody loves you with your love language, it makes you feel good. When somebody deprives whatever your love language is from you, it deflates you, and it's even worse than like, you know, if, you know, your wife didn't buy you gifts, you probably wouldn't care, you know, but if y'all weren't being physical and intimate, you would care a lot more about that. So, you know, part of being married or being with someone is growing, right? And part of that is learning to love them the way they need to be loved, instead of just saying, this is how I am. This is how I am, B.
Okay. But how do you... But how do you express that? Because if I tell my wife, I don't feel like you understand my Spanglish right now, she's going to look at me and say, well, I do A, B, C, and D. You just not getting it. It's your problem.
Most people do what they want. So, like, whatever she's doing for you, that's what you need to be doing for her. And y'all just really need to have an honest conversation or read the book about what you need. Like, I think everybody should be able to express to their partner, like, what they need, like, what works for them. Because I bet you do it when it comes to sex. So in everything else, you need to, like, express your needs.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess pulling your dick out would be expressing yourself, but, you know.
Yeah, but do you want her to suck it? What do you want to happen?
Look, I'm married. I'll take anything at this point.
Oh, God.
Yo.
Is this the wrestler I met when I was down there?
What'd you say?
Is this the wrestler I met when I was down there?
Yeah, that's the same wrestler. He dropped off, though. He might have got in trouble.
Oh.
But yeah. So I think in general, you're right. But I think all couples need like a I don't know how do you say that word, a mediator. I think everyone needs to see a marriage counselor. I think if I had the perfect marriage discussion, because I don't know how to express. I'm just taking this personally. I give my wife all the props in the world because I don't know how to express myself to her when I feel like she doesn't appreciate me, or when I'm angry at her, I kind of start shutting down. Luckily, she knows me and she understands me, so she kind of lets me be, and I get over it after a while. But, like, if I wanted to have an honest conversation with my wife, I think sometimes my anger and the words that I would choose would make her angry with me because she would deem them as disrespectful, where I'm just trying to express myself the best way I know how. Right?
Yeah, I'm not good at that. I'm not good at expressing myself when I get mad, too. I usually just don't answer my phone or just don't really say anything. And he says what's wrong, and I say nothing.
Hey, Gunn, I couldn't agree more with what you said. Like, me and my wife, we went to marriage counseling and everything like that. She's like a grade A student arguer. Like, you do not want to get in an argument with her. She remembers all facts. Like, she hits you with points. Like, you just feel like that. Oh, like I'm stuck. Like, what do I say next? You know what I'm saying? So
Love
when you
it.
get frustrated, you're like, man, forget this. I'm out of here. I don't even want to, you know. But you know, going to a marriage counselor allowed me to learn how to get my point across. You know what I'm saying? With and really help. Like, okay, listen, I know you got all the information right now, but let me hit you with this and listen to me. You know, it really helped out in that regard.
Yeah, a lot of people feel like a marriage counselor is just for when your marriage is broken or when it gets mad, but really it just gives you the tools to handle like when something comes up or to better communicate and stuff. So I think you're right. Everybody should.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, if I could, and I honestly feel, I joke around a lot about my marriage, but I think I'm extremely lucky, and I think I have a great marriage. I think my wife is amazing. But like when things are wrong and we're not getting along, what usually winds up happening is, like, she'll say something to me, I'll say something back, and then instead of her being upset over something I did or me being upset over something she did, she just starts getting mad at me because of how I said it or what I said. And it turns into a whole different discussion. I'm like, yo, we're discussing A, why you mad at B? And she's like, well, you shouldn't have said B. And I'm like, that's not what we're discussing. And then I just say,
you are the worst person to argue with, probably.
I'm the worst person to argue with? I'm so logical. I tell you, the one thing that hurt me about my wife is one day she turned to me, we weren't getting along, she turned to me and she was like, don't you gaslight me, motherfucker. And I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, I had to get on Google and figure out what she meant.
It's a thing.
And I was like, damn, that's cold-blooded. Like, I was mad like 3 days later once I found the right Wikipedia page.
That's so funny.
But yeah, I think marriage counseling is good for just couples. I think every couple needs a mediator that's not a friend of that person, because my friends will be biased towards me. I don't even know what her friends think, because I judge her friends all the time. Not in a bad way. My defense mechanism, like, how your friends going to tell me this? A, B, C, and D. And that's the wrong approach to it, too. So I'm already admitting that's wrong. I think everybody needs to discuss it with somebody. But I think
don't know. My boyfriend is like very good at de-escalating the situations, even when I'm wrong, and like calming it down and like being patient. But he's also like a certified grief counselor and crisis manager and all types of other things.
Oh, so he probably has that skill. He has that
skill set.
Yeah.
So he comes with that skill set.
Yeah, I know.
He hitting you with that.
It makes me kind of feel like I'm crazy. Like you have to have all these certifications to deal with me.
Yeah, I told you because you cold-blooded, yo. I seen you in action, yo.
I
seen you in action in the early 2000s. You cold-blooded, yo. But I definitely appreciate the conversation, and I got to have y'all back on. I think we could talk for another hour, but I got to wrap this up. I got to get ready for Black Panther.
Yeah,
so I got to watch Civil War now. But definitely appreciate y'all coming on tonight. Shout out to C. Riley, Shannon, Russell. Shout out to Tiffany out there. I see you listening in, and everybody else that's been hitting me up on the side listening in. I'll talk to y'all next week. We definitely got some more to talk about. I want to talk about LSD because I think I want to try it, but only in small doses.
Oh,
damn.
Tell
you why. Oh, my God.
I want to go back. I want to go back.
Yo, I did not expect that.
What'd you say?
I didn't expect you to say that.
My God. You're going to end up on some kind of watch list.
Look, I ain't shooting nobody, yo. But I can tell you, so look, I just been doing a lot of listening to stories about LSD. We'll talk about that next week.
All right.
I still want to talk about how Valentine's is overrated. I want to talk about HGTV is bullshit. We got to talk about the Olympics.
I watch HGTV all day, every day. I renovated my condo, top to bottom.
HGTV is full of shit. Well, come replace my floors.
Hashtag me too.
Next week. Yeah, same time next week.
Is it the same time every week?
Definitely want to talk about this.
Okay.
So yeah, definitely come
Peace out.
See Riley, tell your wife to come on in too. I love to have more women to have conversations. Everyone's invited. I appreciate y'all. And next week we got a dick doctor coming on, so that'll be funny.
Oh man, go ahead.
All right, dear brother C. Riley. All right, Mrs. Shannon, it was good talking to y'all.
All right, bye.
All right, man. Have a good one.
You too, brother. You too, sis. So again, folks, I thank everybody for joining me. I just got everybody on mute. Sorry for the back and forth. I'm still working on getting through all the being able to mute so everybody has a chance to get on as we close out tonight. Again, prayers and love goes out to the family of all the kids shooting victims, all the victims of war across seas, all the victims of folks in the streets trying to make it happen. Like, we're living in an imperfect world with imperfect humans. If you believe in God, you know God has a plan. If you don't believe in God, then you know humans are just fallible and fucked up creatures. But the only thing that we can do is try to make it better. And the day we stop trying to make it better is the day we collectively fail and we give up. And I ain't about giving up. I won't give up on y'all. I won't give up on me. I won't give up on my kids, and I hope you won't either. But this has been The Offering, man. Season 2, Episode 3 was epic, man. Things is picking up. Again, shout out to C. Riley. Shout out to Russell. Shout out to Shannon for coming in, chiming in. I always appreciate a woman's voice. I think it's different. I love having my wife on here, too. She wasn't able to chime in tonight, but I think, having a woman's voice, women are the key to this world, and I think having a woman's voice is key on the show. I look forward to more women joining and having a more discussion and lighthearted fun. I mean, we can always discuss serious topics, but I wanted this show to be about conversation with human beings that just not on the internet, even though this is through the internet, so that don't make sense. But you know what I mean? I don't want it to just be Facebook posts back and forth. I don't want it to be tweets. I want people to be able to express themselves, talk things out, and come up with solutions or come up with ideas to solutions. There's a lot of people in this world that doesn't talk. All they do is tweet. They don't listen. What they say in White Man Can't Jump, you can't hear, Jimmy. I want everybody to hear. I want us all to have a discussion. I feel like if we talk, have a good conversation, have some jokes, have some laughs, have some serious discussion, we can get things going. I think that's why I always love doing this podcast. It's the show for the people, by the people, that embodies the people. Because we're the ones who are going to make a change. I mean, if you just give up on people, then I get it. This show ain't for you. If you about giving up and don't ever want to see things corrected or don't think things will ever be right, then just go on live until you die. And let us who thinks that we can make a difference make a difference. And you just sit there and just enjoy the show. But again, man, day after Valentine's Day, hope y'all had a good night. Black Panther come out tonight. For all those checking out Black Panther, I hope y'all enjoy it. I ain't going to be checking my phone, so don't be sending me no spoilers. Make sure you kiss your loved ones. Life is short. Tell the folks you love them. And I'll catch y'all next week, man. It's been a good one, man. Episode 3, hell of an episode. And I got more for y'all next week. We just getting started, baby. The Offering. Beach Bone Gun out.
I'm fired up and I'm ready to go. I'm fired up and I'm ready to go. I'm fired up and I'm ready to go. This is the Billionaire Brown Experience. Let's go.